When it's cold outside, you hold me tight, just my type, you know me. When it's cold outside, you bless me, anything, everything, never stress me.
Welcome back to Pisces TV with Dr. MB. This is your past life regression reading, Pisces. If you read the thumbnail, I talked a little bit about past memories, and my initial intention was to pull some information from the dark past. So elements of yourself that may be hidden or may be weighing you down, or things that you're breaking through, things of that nature. Wherever Pisces falls in your chart, if you're dealing with a Pisces, has a Pisces in your environment, or have a south node of Pisces, okay? Keep in mind that tarot is entertainment, so it may not resonate with you. And if it doesn't, please check other aspects of your chart. I also do natal charts and past life regression readings. So if you want to get your own, feel free to check the description box for a link to my Etsy store, my email address to contact me. And from here on YouTube, we have a community board. There are always products and services, little posts, incentives, and things of that nature. So if you want to go ahead and do that, if you hadn't subscribed, do that. Hit the notification bell. And as usual, guys, I'm going to ask for that like in the end or even now to show your support for my channel. It helps with the algorithm and to tell YouTube that I'm doing a good job. Give a thumbs up, okay? We'll go ahead and get started now. The first card I got the leaf. When I think about the leaf, you could think about the leaves falling. You could think about the seasons changing. So some of you could have fell from what you consider to be grace, all right? Could have been dealing with someone that has a birthday, you know, in the colder months, depending on the country or the continent you're on. All right, something could have happened in the winter. I think old man winter has something to do with this. I saw the King of Swords. You could have been dealing with a cold, calculated, or you could have been a cold, calculated individual, a war veteran, someone who died like fighting for something, unfinished business, okay? The sacredness of pausing. So it just talks about some unfinished business, all right? Also something about time, okay? So, and I kept getting, you may have felt that, you know, you have reincarnated. I feel like some of you may be before your time. I do see the Eight of Wands, so it talks about traveling the world. Some of you guys could have been a traveler, a time traveler, and you got stuck, honey, in this little portal or whatnot. And maybe I can give you some news you can use. So we'll go ahead and get started. I'll read winter, and just know you got the Eight of Wands, which talks about swiftness, also talks about communication, and then death. So it could have been like a sudden ending, okay? Very sudden for you, because when I pulled the card, I didn't necessarily get death. I got something cold, but then it says death is frightening, even though perhaps because it is inescapable. However, as we move into winter, we know it signals a literal and metaphysical death. In some parts of the planet, the extreme weather means snow and ice buries all life, and the ground lies fallow and still. So that could tell me something about where you've come from. In winters, or maybe even the ice age, or something like that, okay? In winter, the earth slows down and there is less light and often more wet weather. Many plants die back, many animals are less active, and traditionally it was a learner, more difficult time for those who worked on the land for a living. Could have been in agriculture, or like I said, a veteran of some sort, like a part of an army, okay? Winter often brought with it an end of a cycle, a life cycle, a figurative or a literal death. So some of you guys, death and endings may be hard for you. It's giving me the King of Cups vibe, where he has all of these fears of the unknown, but really they aren't unknown. These are just things that may be hidden within you, right? And you have no idea why you have these limitations or setbacks and triggers. So should the winter card appear to you, it's time to let what no longer serves you die away, where it seems natural and right to let things that have been bothering you for some time die back. Take real action to change those things. Anything that is superfluous, meaning extra and burdensome, release it, okay? So it's like some ice melting also for some of you. And we'll go ahead and get started with the reading, Pisces, with this Eight of Wands that talks about this swiftness, okay? And I like to do a Celtic cross style reading after what I consider to be the icebreaker, and at the end of the reading, I may answer some questions for you. Now, bottom of the deck, we have the Knight of Wands, so this could be a very adventurous time. You may have fire in your South Node. You could have been very eager, very ambitious. You may have made few promises, which means you could have died with a lot of guilt, or you could have been in situations that held a lot of regret, either from you or from others in your environment. And see, I think this is a different deck. With the Eight of Wands, we have the King of Swords, so there may be an air sign. You may have a north node of air energy, so that's what Aquarius, Gemini, and also, I don't want to say Virgo, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. And you could have been a masculine energy in the past, or like I said, some type of warrior, because the King of Swords is victorious. You could have traveled often. And like I said, you could be from a totally different place, because it also talks about time travel. Now for you, the lessons that you have learned, it had a lot to do with information. It could have had something to do with things that you spoke, because you have this strong crown chakra. You have this ability to manifest, and I feel like your fears or your thoughts became things, and that could have been a problem for you in the past. You could have also lacked information when you got here. In this lifetime, you may be coming into a lot of clarity, okay, from the past. Crowning your thoughts, we have the Seven of Swords. So those of you that made your way to this video may have a lot of questions about your past, or feel like there was a lot hidden from you. You may also have a lot of little secrets that need to be let out, or others in your environment may, family ties, relationships, cycles, Now, in the near future, baby, you got all swords. And that fits to this air energy and the winter time, and like this cold air, this crisp air. And that's ancient for me. The Nine of Swords also in the near future talks about a lot of information coming to you at once. And some of you guys, this is like brand new for you. Others of you, it helps push you toward that King of Pentacles energy that we've been talking about. And there's a need for you to keep it to yourself, because you're in a spiritual ascension. A lot of things may be coming to you from, different places, different beings, different aspects of you. And having communications with people about that could make you look, a little foolish or a bit unstable. The challenging aspect, and you have more swords. King of Swords, 10 of Swords, 7 of Swords, 9 of Swords, and now we have the Knight. So the issue for a lot of you guys would be bravery. Maybe you moved too fast, Maybe you didn't get all of the information, and then suddenly something happens. And, here we are, like I said, with those regrets and with those fears. Maybe bravery was an issue for you. Others of you, you've, again, manifested. You manifested something, and maybe it didn't work in your favor. I feel it very well so could this life. But you didn't have a lot of knowledge in what you were doing, and there could have been a mistake made. If not you, others in your environment may have manifested some things which have been hidden from you, but you are living this experience. Now, the environment around you, I do have Earth, so it does tell me about where you could come from. So I don't know what, like the Pleiadians, the Syrians, what, little grid you come from, but it does tell me something about a past time, and it tells me about air energy. And the winter card does talk about cold air, and then you have this beautiful leaf that's kind of losing its color, moving into autumn. Okay, so like I said, some of you guys, a cold war, a cold war, and the Empress, just for me, represents your expectations and what it is that you're attracting. I feel like a lot of you guys, your strength is manifesting and is attracting. And if you had experienced any negativity that could have swayed your energy or the way you think, you could have manifested more lifetimes. If this has to do with contractual things and like generational curses and stuff like that, you could have agreed to something that you didn't have all the information on, and those details could later, kind of have bitten you in the butt. Now, what you want is the time that you have invested to count. So you probably are trying to figure out those hidden gifts and things about you over many lifetimes. And I feel like someone with said advantage would probably be considered a time traveler, because you have the benefit of remembrance. So it's like, you know, things from the past. You probably can look into the future a little bit if that's one of your gifts. And I feel that that is magnificent for you, Pisces. Now the outcome, the Three of Pentacles actually came up in our daily vibe, which talks about invention. Some of you guys could have been inventors. And some of you guys, there's like a strong pull on time travel, maybe inventing that, something in that arena. So that's interesting. I don't think we've really ever had that come up on the channel. Creating new opportunities for yourself. And then it's something about right now. Some of you guys are looking out into the future with confusion. And this confusion is the very thing that may have had you in the situation that drew you to this video. But all of this clarity in the crown chakra and grounding yourself. So there's a lot of heat, there's a lot of swiftness, there's a lot of movement right now. You're going through a lot of changes, there's a lot of communication coming in. And the best thing you can do is just stabilize yourself, which I'm looking at these green cards. It's like the root energy of earth. You know, you are a very spiritual being. You may have master numbers of 11 or 9, even 7, okay? Because you got the 7 of Pentacles. And there's a need for you to be really, really grounded, because of information, those of you who are asking, some of you aren't, okay? So those of you who may be asking about information about the past, about information on who you are, about your families, what you're supposed to do, where you come from, a lot of the information is making its way to you so that you can use it toward your future, and in doing so, void yourself of confusion and kind of learn how to navigate through life a little bit better and create new opportunities for yourself, okay? I'm going to take a couple of clarifiers right quick. If you guys hadn't already, please check out the love reading. We have a finance reading and the daily vibe that's been listed for today. I am accepting same-day readings. That advertisement is in the community board if you are interested. And it is a full reading, so if you don't have, you know, business, finance, or health questions, you could definitely use it to do the past life regression or to understand where you come from, as well as where you're going. Now, others of you, a natal chart reading is available. You can check the link through Etsy to book that. I do see the 10 of Cups, so I do see something about a bridge. You have the ability to communicate with the past and the present. That could just be ancestors, and that could also be some of you have psychic abilities or ability to channel and kind of get information that would help you move forward and see out of the confusion, all right? Out of the storm of some sort, okay? And some of you, this has to do with hidden knowledge, or like I said, hidden gifts, okay? Now, the King of Swords and the 7 of Pentacles, I do have a shaman. I do have an unexpected event. All right, something happened unexpectedly. It could have something to do with an earth sign. It could have something to do with a father figure. All right, because I have the Tower. So there was some type of separation. You guys may have a separation from a father figure, and that reincarnated in this life. So we could totally not be talking about your dad or grandfather or husband or brother. This could definitely be just where you come from. And some planets have a more feminine or a more masculine approach. Like, I didn't know Saturn was considered to be the queen of the planets. I thought Saturn was for sure, you know, Big Daddy, you know. And so with the Empress here being the Queen of Queens, look and see where Saturn falls in your chart, all right? We have the Page of Wands. Some of you guys could be like the self-sacrificing kind of type. You could have inherited this from a family member, or some seeds may have been planted within you, which could talk about, you know, DNA, like your actual connections. I know, like trauma, PTSD, for those of you that could have come from a culture that was traumatized, or if some of you are coming out of military backgrounds or have ancestors from military backgrounds, it just talks about that trauma. You do know that trauma can transfer through DNA, just like eye color, and attitude and characteristics. So some of you guys may be healing from trauma, okay? Now, with the Empress and the 10 of Swords, this is information, this is memory, this is also order, and again, this is Taurus energy. So check to see where Taurus falls in your chart. But it's like you are going to start remembering. A lot of information is about to start coming to you, sweetheart. And with the Fool card and the Knight of Swords, it's like you moved really quick based on your beliefs. You have this self-sacrificing energy, and there's also communication coming to you guys via documents. So you may be talking to people, or you may have found some old documentation, and that's causing you to kind of look into who you are and where you came from. A lot of you guys check to see where Leo falls in your chart, and I have been talking a lot lately about the Stargate, which either is the 1111 Stargate portal that always activates, they say. And there's something that goes on, I feel like they said July 3rd through the 7th. I just read that on YouTube. For others of you, check to see where Leo falls in your chart. And it also talks about not doing things from an egotistical place to humble yourself. And also those of you that inherited traumas like PTSD and stuff like that, you may be easily triggered and may have had anger management issues. And you may be learning lessons that kind of slow you down and heal you of those things. This is manipulation. The Nine of Wands is just like someone who is defensive. So, the Secretary of Defense, or just a lot that has to do with war and battles. Okay. And then, like I said, the Nine of Wands, you have the Nine of Swords, and 9 for me are very spiritual lessons. So actions and information. And what was this one? Over the 7 of Swords. So this could be, a time that you come from, or even the time that you're living in now. You may feel like there's a lot being withheld. I don't want to say a conspiracy theorist, but you're kind of like defending your honor, or kind of died defending your honor. And there's something that was hidden, and you just knew, or you just know that it's true, regardless of how it's swept under the rug. Right. It's not an illusion at all. And then I have the Two of Wands. So baby, usually when you see the Two of Wands, it says that you're taking a spiritual approach to your new direction. It being in reverse says that that's not being done, or maybe you didn't do it in the past life. Okay. Or sometimes my cards in reverse represent something that was done in the past. So if you had any karmic debt, breaking generational curses, this says that you may have gone against the grain of those that have come before you, and because of that, you may be stumbling upon a lot of, a tremendous amount of information that maybe those ancestors wanted where they left it. Okay, you are coming back into your divinity, connecting to spirit. So I'm not judging and have no idea where you're coming from. But if you're heading into the spiritual cleanse, if you're heading into abundance, if you're heading back into divinity, it just says that, like I, set the intention on when I made the thumbnail, that you could be coming from some darker times. And then I do see judgment. So it's kind of like all that was hidden from you, those answers are going to be revealed. Those ancestors are going to have to answer for those things. And it also talks about your judgment and your discernment. Maybe the way you looked at things before, maybe how you saw the future. And then it's like this with Capricorn coming up here. We've talked about where that may fall in your chart. And it talks about past life karma. And then we have the mother and father. So you could have been a little karma baby, or your great grandparents, honey, could have done something, made a deal with the devil, honey, that affected the future. Because I have the Empress and I have the Emperor. So these people were very honorable. I feel like high on the tree, right? The family tree or whatnot. And then with Capricorn here and the Three of Wands, this is definitely somebody making a deal with the devil that impacted the future. And I don't even want to go into what that is. But with the Wheel of Fortune here in Pisces and the Nine of Pentacles, I feel that you are the chosen one. If not just fate and destiny, it's something within your life purpose and on your path that releases you from that. So like I said, if you want to look further into what that is and who you are and the hidden gifts, as well as those of you that may want to know about those ancestors and what they did, which may have something to do with the occult or hidden knowledge, or just like I said, some things that they swept up under the rug, get a reading. You know, I may be able to help you with that. Now, I'm not going to do the questions with this reading. I did promise you guys a super chat reading today, so that will still be done a little bit later. I don't know where you are in the country, but the sun's still out where I am. So whenever it crosses you, even though it's going to be live, you do have to be, live to get the questions answered. If you stumble upon the video after it's recorded, of course I won't be able to answer your questions then, but you're more than welcome to reach out and contact me via Etsy so that you can get your questions answered if you don't want to get a reading. I do have 1 card questionnaires, so you can also book that. Until next time, Pisces, if you did enjoy this, give me a thumbs up. If you hadn't already and you're a newcomer, welcome to the channel. Please take a look at the other videos and hit the subscription button. Until next time, namaste.